Barbie's ruled. We all failed at The Legend of Zelda, and I still don't know what a bop it is. Christmas in the 90s is here. Stay tuned.
You're tuning in to AfterBuzz TV's The Christmas 24/7 channel, keeping the spirit of Christmas 24/7. Give, forgive, be merry.
Welcome back, guys, to AfterBuzz TV on our Christmas 24/7 channel. We are here today. We're so excited. We are going to talk about our favorite toys from the 1990s and also talk a little bit about what we are doing now in 2019. I am your host, Suzi G, all things Christmas lover and Christmas movie lover. And I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Miss Samantha Jacobs.
Hello.
Who would like to go to the North Pole someday.
Yes, life goals.
Also a huge Christmas lover as well. So we're kind of excited today because we are talking about toys. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Yes.
So we're kind of going to break down our favorite toys of the 90s. We're going to talk about some of the toys that are relevant now and that are very different from those toys. And we're also going to talk about all the ones we didn't get, we really wanted, and maybe some ones that we did get and we didn't want.
Yes.
Are we a little greedy?
I don't know.
Oh, and then we've got our special segment, The Cozy Corner, for you. So stay tuned through this whole episode because that's a great segment. But we're going to get started right away, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my favorite 90s toys.
Yes.
And anyone that knows me knows that I am a huge sneakerhead. And it's kind of funny because I begged and pleaded for a pair of LA Gear kicks all through the 90s and the Reebok Pump, but I was a huge sneaker fan, and I wanted those LA Gears that lit up when you walked, and that was like one of those toys that, it wasn't a toy, but it was a gift that I wanted. They were kind of like toys, though, because they lit up.
They were gorgeous. They were fun.
Yeah.
They, made you feel like you had superpowers, and you were just, they were awesome.
But I remember them being expensive and, having to plead with my dad for that to be, my one big Christmas gift. And I did get them, which was so exciting. Yay. Now I want to hunt them down. I think I would, want to buy them again.
Yeah. Do you think your parents didn't get them for you because you were still a kid and you'd grow out of them too fast?
That was one of the big concerns because, back in the day, spending $100 on a sneaker when you were going to grow out of them was something that, parents were like, I don't really know if that's worth it.
Yeah.
So I think they did finally get them. Santa brought them. Oh. But they only lasted a year. Then I outgrew them. And also, speaking of which, technology was kind of starting to change for us. I got my first Game Boy, which I remember being so excited about because you could physically bring it with you in the car, on road trips.
Yeah.
And I would always play The Legend of Zelda and I would fail.
Yeah. Super Mario is probably my fave.
Yes. Did you have the Nintendo console or the Game Boy?
Well, my first thing was the Sega. I had it was humongo, and you could take it, but it was ginormous, and I don't know why. It would just slop on my lap, and you also had the little peg thing on the side.
Yes.
It was just jumbo.
Huge.
And I elevated from the Sega to the Game Boy Color, so I skipped the Game Boy.
Mine was purple.
Yeah,
I was so excited. But I just remember being this is so great because now it was kind of you could take it with you anywhere you went, which I think now parents are kind of that's kind of a weird thing. I didn't use mine that often, though. I don't remember.
Yeah, I wasn't stuck on it where I wasn't, I was addicted to it or I was a gamer. It was just there, on road trips or airplane, situations. And
then I also really was into Barbies growing up.
Duh.
Such a girl. I wanted that Barbie Jeep that you could actually physically sit in and drive, and I never got that, but that was a big Christmas gift because I remember they came out with the male version of the red Jeep, and then they had the pink Barbie one, but you could it was I think the first powered car that you could sit in.
Yeah, mine was, I wanted the Jeep.
Right.
I got the Little Mermaid convertible, and the horn was Flounder.
That's amazing.
And everyone on my cul-de-sac was so jealous. And so this girl who was 12, I had to be 6 or something, and she sat in it and broke my seat. She was just too tall. And my parents were livid.
Oh, of course.
They were like, we just bought this, and now the seat is broken, so they stuffed newspapers in it, and they were like, deal with it. If you want to ride it, ride it.
I remember being so jealous of the kids in the neighborhood that had that, because I had like my sad little like actual Barbie car that the Barbies could fit in, but I didn't get the big one. But I got the Ellie Gears instead, so I guess I should be happy about that. And then what about yourself? You've got to have some amazing gifts that you
My
loved.
gifts were dolls. I was a big Barbie girl. I loved all the stuff. So one thing that I really wanted, which I received, was a sky dancer. And so if you don't know what a sky dancer is, they look like tiny Barbies, but she flies. So you put her on the stick, and then you pull the string and she spins. But did you know that this was the most dangerous toy in the world?
Probably, because I don't think that I never had a sky dancer, but just looking at the photo of it, it doesn't look like it was
No, I'm like, why did my parents buy me this?
Your children to have.
There's an article that's saying that it chipped teeth, put temporary blindness, people broke their ribs, there's concussions, 170 reports on just the doll on Christmas Day, 150 injuries, like the Consumer Product Safety Commission had to step in. I'm like, what?
I had no idea. I mean, I knew that they like flew up, but I mean, I guess I could see that.
Yeah, or if you had a sibling like bullying them and like getting it in their hair, if that got in my hair, I would lose it.
I actually have a story about that. In the 90s, they had those like the little pets that you would wind up and they would run, and I wound it up and it got stuck in my hair and I had to cut it out, and it was on Christmas Day.
Oh no.
So
were you crying or were you okay with it?
I was crying because my sister had to like cut it out, physically cut it out of my hair. That's probably what happened with the sky dancers. They were getting caught.
People are crazy.
So don't buy one of those on eBay, people.
Let's discontinue those, yes. My other one is the Tamagotchi.
Yes.
This thing was so cool. It was like your little baby. And I want to shout out to my dad because he took that to work. So while I was in school, it wouldn't die. He fed it and changed its diaper and everything. So when I would come home from school, he'd be like, it's still alive. Here, now it's your turn to take care of it.
See, these are the things like when you do a show like this, you find out about, you know, family and that. And that's so sweet and so cute that he would take it to work for you.
He's a physician assistant for surgery. So I'm like, you're taking this in the operating room? I hope you're not. I just don't want to imagine it.
I want it to die.
Yeah. But, he was a good dad. That was a good present. A lot of people had it. It was just something that was technology. It was the age where it was just coming up.
How long did they last?
People had records. Like, I think it could last a year. Like, you wanted it to grow up and become something, but I don't think I lasted more than a month or so.
Probably not.
Because you just stopped paying attention to it. But I'm sure there's people who were like, I can't, like OCD about it. But my number one thing was the Barbie dream house. I wanted one so bad.
If you are a girl and you were into Barbies, that dream house was like the thing.
It was.
To have.
And there was a bathtub, and there was the little patio, and you're like, she has to go out there. Like, I can't just have her on my carpet. She needs to be in a bed. That she deserves to be in a bed. And my parents were like, no, why am I doing this? You have too many Barbies. Only 2 Barbies can fit in the house. Like, no. And they eventually caved in and got me like the regular. It wasn't the dream house because it didn't have the elevator and the mansion-y feel to it, but it was just a general house. So I was like, okay, at least I have the house.
Because it's so funny, like if you talk to people that grew up in the 90s that had Barbies, they probably had like 40 of them, I feel like. But you would set up like a Barbie camp. Like we would have the house and the car, and then we would, it was just like so much fun.
And there was just so many accessories.
Oh, it was great.
That I don't even know how I knew where those were. I always knew. Always.
And I think it's fun because it goes back to kind of playing more with your imagination. And that's kind of what I loved about Barbies, because you don't see as many kids playing with them anymore, but it's like you had to just create like a imaginary life for your Barbie, Ken and Skipper.
Yeah. And Kelly, the little
Kelly.
one, I had potty training Kelly. And I felt so adult. I was like,
I feel like we grew up with amazing toys because we weren't into like technology wasn't where it's at today. So we still just had like we were outside, we were doing things. But the toys of the 90s, I mean, these were absolutely so much fun. And I still think, I mean, besides the Sky Dancers band, we had a great childhood with a lot of really fun toys where we had to use our imaginations.
Yeah, and they were super, I don't know how to, not colorful isn't the word. They just were so versatile.
Right.
You could bring them in the car. You could bring them to the mall. You could bring them anywhere.
Right.
But they were also fun, equally fun to play with at home versus now I feel like the technology game is what kids are waiting to play at home.
Right.
And then they bring the doll to suffice during the day.
And like speaking of that, kind of going into our next segment, that's kind of what we want to talk about a little bit. Some of the toys now that are still kind of relevant from the 90s and some major differences that we see happening in 2019.
Yeah, so let's see. It's crazy because there's a huge trend, right? Toys are based off of trends, and it's different each time, but the same stuff that we liked are still popular today. So we were talking about the Barbie Dream House. On the top 10 2019 Christmas toys, the Barbie plane is on there.
There's
it's a jet setter plane. And so
is she flying privately now?
Yes, she's flying privately. And that's on the list. So it's like kids are obviously still playing with Barbie. And if it's not Barbie, it's some other type of doll. They just elevate it in some way. Like 2000s was Bratz. Right. Now is like the LOL Surprise. Like there's just a different doll for each generation. And I guess Barbie just really hit us home in the 90s.
And it's interesting, they actually it started in the UK, and it's still going. I think it's just ending now. They had a Barbie pop-up shop where you could go in and see some of the Barbies past, present, and all of that. And I think kind of goes that now it's like this experience, this pop-up experience that we're seeing all through like 2019 and all kinds of different, things.
Yeah, and I love Barbie, and I love the evolution of Barbie. So it's cool to see her how she started in the 50s or whatever, and how she looked. And one thing I liked about going to my grandmother's house was she had my aunt's Barbies. So they were 70, 60 Barbies, and their eyelashes, you could touch them. And I thought that was so cool. Yeah, see?
Yes.
And she would have just thrown those away, but because I was like, no, I like playing this when I go to grandma's house, and they had like the camper, like instead of a house, it was a camper that extended.
Yes, I remember the Barbie camper.
I was like, it's so cool, and I still liked it and loved playing with it, even though that was Barbie from 1970, whatever. Right. It was still enjoyable to play with.
Well, I was laughing now, too, because instead of that Barbie Jeep, you can now get a pink Mercedes G-Wagon, kids. So no more Barbie Jeep. Like, let's elevate ourselves to a Mercedes.
I think Cardi B Culture, her daughter Culture, has that. Because I've definitely seen that on Instagram. I'm like, oh, I want one.
I want one, too.
Do they make adult size, like, plate things just for my backyard? Get me from my kitchen to the backyard.
You're driving down the street.
Just checking my mail, guys. No big deal.
Absolutely amazing. And again, like speaking from like the Game Boy, now you have like $500 virtual reality. That's a kind of, I think, a big toy on Amazon for 2019, which again to me is kind of, I don't know. I don't play virtual reality games very much.
See, that gives me motion sickness. Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. Like when I do those motion or virtual reality things, it does not make me, let's just not do it.
And I think too, though, kids, we had the pogo sticks and all of that in the 90s, and now everything's motorized.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of miss having some of those fun outdoor games that you kind of, again, had to kind of create. Do you ever have the ribbon?
Yeah.
Like
the gymnastics thing, that's what I called it. Because in Lizzie McGuire, she does.
I don't even, it was like, don't even know like why, but you would just go out, like you could entertain yourself for hours with the ribbon, and I don't know if kids would be able to do that right now.
No, they wouldn't know what to, I don't know. I feel that the younger age, you can start them off with those toys and then they can evolve. I think if you automatically give them the technology and they go into that, that would have to be some type of scientific test we'd have to pull. Yeah. Like, who wants to play with this now? And see if they really do.
Yeah. Any other toys that are really popular this year?
Yeah, so the baby shark doll. The baby shark doo-doo.
Oh, yeah.
So now they created a doll, and that's probably the number one thing that people are buying for Christmas. And I've noticed it's a lot of stuff based off movies or something.
Right.
So a walking Buzz Lightyear. So instead of just having Buzz Lightyear, I guess because Toy Story 4 came out, now there's a walking one instead of a flying one. I don't know. So that seems really cool that everyone wants. A lot of toys for preschoolers.
Right.
Are really big in trend because, you know, they're learning and, you know, you get the baby, the toy. So there's a Linkimals sloth that teaches you opposites and all that stuff. So that's a technology thing, but it's educational at the same time. So.
And do you remember, I mean, I think now it's so different because we have so many online ways to shop. But I remember I also had like the Cabbage Patch Dolls came out, and there were ones that like at Toys R Us, you could not get them. People would wait in line for some of these toys, but I feel like nowadays you can kind of get your hands on a lot of these toys.
I feel people will either resell them, so there's a way to get it. The black market per se is open to everybody. So anyone can get it, or people are willing to pay that extra price if it's sold out, versus back then people are just like, no way. It's done. It's sold out. And I miss going into toy stores. Like, kids don't have that sensation of walking into even KB Toys that looked like it was going to close down. It was like white all the time. You would just see racks of different types of sports balls and all that stuff. And it was just fun to go in. Toys R Us, obviously, is now closed. It's just...
Well, even going back to like the LA Gears, you would physically go into like Dillard's or Macy's and look at the shoes. And now we have these sites that kids are on, like StockX, and they're bidding on shoes and like the sneaker things for kids that are 10, 12, 13. Yeah. I mean, they're wanting like $500, $600 sneakers, which again is just kind of evolving, you know, as we
And I guess, does that have to do with media and social media?
Yes.
So kids are seeing this and now they want that, even though they're still 10, 11, 12.
Well, so speaking of getting this and wanting that, kind of leads us right into our next segment, because we both kind of love talking about all the gifts that we really wanted and the ones that we got that we did not want.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I vocally said I do not want a Furby.
I didn't like those. They scared me too.
I did not want one. My best friend had one. Every time I slept over, I would not sleep. I would have anxiety. I would hear it blink. It wouldn't even talk. I would just hear the like of the eyes. I would lose it. It was not the toy for me. Someone decided to get it. And I was like, I'm not kidding. I didn't want this. And so I was just like,
throw it away.
Instantly returned it. Instantly. I was like, Mom, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't.
I did not ever own a Furby or a troll doll, which was also during the 90s, because those troll dolls kind of scared me too. I was just like, I don't think, I'd rather have Barbies.
Yeah.
It was kind of an interesting kind of thing. Well, that's also for me. Somebody gave me a Bop It.
You don't like Bop Its?
I don't even know what they do still to this day. Like, if you go back and like look at an old school Bop It commercial, I still can't figure it out. It's like sing, throw, touch, feel, and I'm like, I never used it. It just sat in the box.
Yeah.
Do you know what it does?
I do. I didn't get the original Bop It. I got the Bop It Extreme.
Oh.
So what it did, what I had was, it was Bop It, pull it, twist it, spin it, and I had to like, you flicked it or something, and you just had to listen and play it back, and then it had the beat. It was like ding 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 ding, and you had to like bop it, twist it, spin it, turn it.
Like the commercial scares me because it like gives me anxiety. Then when I look at the actual Bop It, I'm like, I don't understand. Yeah. It wasn't a toy
it speaks
for me.
to you, and you just look at it and you're like, all right, I'm ready to accept this.
So I'm going to come in next week, and there's going to be a Furby and a Bop It here.
No, please, no.
Yeah, just something that for some reason I still don't quite get it.
I didn't like playing it with other people because that gave me anxiety.
So you could play it on your own?
Yeah, you could play it solo, and then you could play it multiplayer. And when I played it with other people, it made me anxious because I was like, oh, like, do it. And so I was like, I can't share.
What's something that you really wanted that you never got?
This is the lamest thing ever. I really wanted Operation.
The board game?
The game, yeah.
I think we had two at our house.
But you should. Can I come over, please?
Come over and play.
I don't know what it was. My mom would not buy it. I don't know why.
Well, because it's kind of scary looking.
It is scary. I don't know if she didn't like the noise it made.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was obsessed with that, and
maybe
I wanted
the fact
it so bad.
That you got electrocuted.
Yeah. Or it's like a naked man. I don't know.
With a clown nose. Now that I look at it years down the line, it definitely is kind of an interesting board game.
And it's a classic toy. That's still being sold today. It's like Monopoly.
Yeah. I feel like some of these board games, when we talk about 2019 to the 90s, board games are something that I do think have not really changed, and they are still selling because they're just fun to play with, like, your family or with friends.
Yeah, and it's a good way to bring people together.
Yeah.
Because there's a sense of competition, and if your kids are younger, it's the sense of learning to wait your turn.
Right.
Like, it's okay if you lose. Like, understanding, like, this is normal in society.
Right.
You know, and it's fun.
Oh, they're so much fun. Now we just play them as in drinking games.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what happens when
but
you
it's
go
still
from 10,
there.
but it's still around. I was upset because I really wanted a trampoline.
I did too.
Everybody had the trampolines, and I wanted one too, but my parents were just like, absolutely not. You're going to break your neck. You're going to get hurt. We don't want the liability. On and on and on and on. So then they got me a balance beam.
Like the one with the bar?
I did gymnastics,
Okay.
which is why I wanted a trampoline. So they got me like a low to the ground balance beam like that you see gymnasts on, and I was like, this is the worst gift ever. Like, I'm going to do like a cartwheel on this?
Yeah, you could have gone to the Olympics. You focused on the balance beam.
Like, my other career, gymnastics. But yes, I still wanted one of those. And it's funny now because if I had children and they wanted a trampoline, I would probably say no too. I don't think
Really? Why is that?
I don't think they're safe. My older years.
Yeah.
But it's still, again, something that I think a lot of people these days want. Kids love those trampolines.
Backyard. It's something to do. It gets you outside at least.
Yeah.
You know, it's an excuse to go outside.
Right.
I grew up here, so it wasn't rainy or snowy, so it was easy to maintain. But I could imagine living, you know, anywhere else.
Right.
Rain, snow, covering it, clean it. Like, it's also now another liability, I guess, or a responsibility.
It's just so fun because I think when we really look back at these, like, gifts from the 90s that we received in a lot of these toys, there hasn't been a ton of change. I mean, technology, obviously there's a lot of different kind of toys out, but kids still just like to play with a lot of the toys we played with in the 90s.
Yeah, and it's just boosting imagination, right? It's a beautiful thing to see a child grow or, you know, get to know who they are. And these toys help you explore that realm.
Right, like just waking up on Christmas morning, just seeing all the toys. But then I remember I'd have, like, jealousy of the toys that my sister got or my friends got, and I'd get over my toys.
Yeah.
I think I was just greedy, is what it sounds like right now.
You need a visit from the Grinch.
I think so. The Grinch gave me that Bop It, so there you go.
He's like, learn to be patient.
Yes. But I love that because I love watching, like, nieces and nephews and younger kids just really, like, even like you said, the learning toys for children that are like 3 to 5 are just great tools, you know, to learn, which is something that is kind of fun.
And presents are just exciting. You don't know what it is, but you think you have an idea, and then when you open it, my mom tricked me one year. She put in a box She loved doing this. She loved putting something else in a different shape, so I really wouldn't know what it was.
Right. Oh,
And she put Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, when they did that tour together, in a huge shoebox. Oh. So I thought I was getting these fancy kicks or something. I opened it up. It was concert tickets. I lost it. Flipped out. I was like, yeah. But, it's the magic, the spirit of keeping things, unknown, playing the game.
Did you try to find gifts? I would do that, which my mom was really good at hiding because she knew that that's what I liked to do. And I would literally try to find my gifts. And I'm like, why did I do that? Then there's no surprise.
I never did. I don't know why. No. I never was on the hunt. A lot of my friends were. They were like, oh, I saw in the closet that I got. And I was like, why are you looking?
Not a good thing to do.
Did you think you ever got disappointed, or you saw something that was maybe for your sister and you thought it was for you or something like that?
Oh, yeah. So, that happened several times because she's only a few years older than myself. And I remember she got, what was it, like a Click, the camera? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't a Polaroid, but it was like I know what it was. It was like a long
rectangular, and I wanted one of those so badly. Thought it was for me, and she got it. So, what about yourself?
Oh, I'm an only child, so I didn't really. No, I think I liked the mystery.
Yeah.
And so I just never creeped around. And then I liked to let my parents think I believed in Santa longer than I did.
Oh, I love that.
So I was like, oh, I know Santa's not real, but I was like, yeah, Santa's coming. He's coming. And then, so I don't know.
And I think that's something that makes Christmas so special is that no matter what we're doing and what stage of life, what decade we're in, there's still this magical spirit of Santa and Christmas and the gifts and leaving cookies out. And I think that that's something that kind of translates, to kids today, that they kind of want to anticipate Santa coming and leaving all the gifts.
Yeah. And it's cute because stocking stuffers and little things like that. And it's just, no matter how big or what the present is, it's still going to give you that joy.
Right. And speaking of all of the joys of Christmas and a little bit of nostalgia and fun, we have a wonderful special segment, the Cozy Corner, where we talk about all things Christmas, magical, whatever we're kind of feeling like. But I don't know, what's something that was really nostalgic for you?
Gosh, there's so many. I would say everybody coming over on Christmas Day from my dad's side. So, my dad's side is Jewish.
Okay.
My mom's side is Catholic, so I did a Christmas Hanukkah thing.
Nice.
And it was fun because on Christmas Day, the whole family would come. So even my Jewish side would still show up. Nice. And so it was really cute and fun to have the entire family there. And that was just something I thought was so nice or special because even though, not necessarily believed in it or whatever, it was still a moment for everybody to get together. So
I like that. I know we go to Christmas Eve Mass every year at 4 p.m. My mom does not go. She stays home and gets ready. And then we have a wild Christmas Eve party at our home with about 60 people that's been going on since I was 5 years old.
Oh, I love that.
And I think we've only missed one Christmas Eve. So it's something our family looks more forward to Christmas Eve than Christmas Day because that's our family Christmas with friends. And people bring gifts. My dad dresses up as Santa. It's really fun.
That's so cute.
Yes, I should have brought a photo of that.
Now you got to bring one for this year.
This year when we come back. But I mean, that's kind of something that's great. But you also have some other fun stuff for Cozy Corner.
Yeah, so since we're talking about the 90s, there was a toy that broke the internet before breaking the internet was a thing. And this was in 1996, and I don't know if you remember, but it was called the Tickle Me Elmo. And this toy, people were going crazy about it.
I still don't understand why.
I don't know why either. It was for preschoolers. It happened, I guess, around the same time of Jim Henson passing.
Yes.
And so Sesame Street was more hyped up a little bit, I guess. And so I don't know if it was a nostalgic thing for people who just loved the series. I don't know, but people literally, scalpers sold this for $1,500. And this was before like eBay and reselling it. Like you had to find some dude on the street and be like, "Hey, you have the Tickle Me Elmo." Like this was some real stuff. And there was always consistent fights. People were sent to the hospital. There was stampedes for this toy. Everything you could imagine.
I do kind of remember that.
Black Friday sales, I think there was something where someone got punched in the face. Like this toy just brought everyone Christmas joy. And if you look at it now, if you were like, oh, let me buy it, you would think maybe it's a lot of money. It's not. It's only $20 to $50. And the normal price for this toy was $28.99.
$1,500 for a Tickle Me Elmo.
I want to talk, right? I want to talk to a parent who did that, or maybe not $1,500, but went out of their way to get it from somewhere else when it was sold out, and see if it was worth it. Or like, how do you feel now? Let us know.
Yeah, because I mean, there were those times in the 90s when those toys would sell out, and you'd have to like black market them, and they were expensive.
Yeah, and they would say, hey, it's available after Christmas. Nope. It has to be there on the 25th, 24th, it has to be there. And now Target's open 24 hours practically on Christmas Day. Like these stores, now before they were like, nope, we're closed, you can't. And now stores are consistently open.
And what's so interesting about that too, we were kind of talking about like some statistics, and 60% of people are buying all their gifts online now. So it's kind of like, I'm going to get it on Amazon Prime and it's going to come tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes away a little bit of Christmas for me. I like to shop.
Yeah.
I like to buy gifts for people. I'm not the biggest online shopper, but it also says that in 2019 we will spend $1 trillion on Christmas gifts. And that 28% of people start their Christmas shopping in November, while 62% of people wait until the week of, which is usually myself.
Yeah.
23% of people rely on social media to tell them what to buy, which I thought was interesting. And a little bit naughty, 26% of people lie about giving a gift to somebody.
What?
Yeah, like, did you forget your white elephant gift? Or did you say, like, I sent Aunt June a gift and you never did?
Whoa.
Yes. And 47.4% of women would like jewelry. So men out there,
yes,
get that jewelry ready. Yeah. So I thought it was kind of funny, but that, there's always some fun statistics at Christmas, but I think for me, relying on social media, something that we see has changed Christmas instead of like, do you remember when you get like the Sears catalog?
Yes.
You would flip through it.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about it. Yeah.
Now it's just like you're on social media and that's how you find the hot toys.
It's so much easier to look through a book and be like, circle. I would circle.
Yes.
Be like, this is what I want. Even though you didn't get it. Yeah. All of them, please.
I mean, you would wait for those catalogs, and they were huge.
And they came from everywhere. They came from Toys R Us, Dillard's, Macy's. Like everyone had those. And
for me, it's hard like to go on Amazon and be like top 20 gifts and be like do put them in my cart. Like I get so excited like here in Los Angeles to go to the Grove and walk around, and it snows at night. And
does it really?
It does. They have fake snow.
I don't know.
But it just is just fun for me to. I like to buy people gifts.
Yeah, I like too, because then it's more sentimental. Like, I picked this out for you because I know the type of person you are. Nothing's worse than getting a gift that is absolutely not yourself or not for you. You shouldn't be ungrateful, but, not, especially, say your parent got you something, and you're like, I hate the color purple.
Right. Or, like, it's hard because I don't like to give people gift cards, but I do know it's a big gift. Like, if my mom gives me a $200 gift card to Target for Christmas, I'm like, yes, I can stock up. But it's also not as sentimental, but gift cards have become huge at Christmas.
Trendy, yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that?
I say it's good because, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's lazy.
Yes.
It's very lazy, last minute. Here, I know you can do it. I know you will find something you like. Who wouldn't? You know, I'm giving you free money. I'll take free money. Yeah. Thanks. But at the same time, it's not, there's just nothing there. So it's like, oh, you're just throwing money at me. Or I don't know. Right. Does that sound rude?
Yeah, it's a little. I'm on the fence with that both ways around. But I remember, getting gift cards. And speaking of that, I'd go and buy CDs and music. And we
FYE.
do know that the 1990s had a lot of good music, which kind of gets us to the end of this show. And next week, we are going to be talking about all of our favorite 90s Christmas music.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Anything
I can't even. Mariah, NSYNC. What else? What else was a good one? There's too many.
Boys.
Yes. 98 Degrees, I think, had a song.
All those boy bands with their hats on. It was great. So that is basically a wrap for this week's episode on our favorite 1990s toys. I'm Susie G, and you can find me at Susie G Styles. And Sam, where can we find you?
And you can find me on Instagram at storyof_Samantha.
And make sure you guys follow us on Christmas 24/7 here at AfterBuzz, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Chief Officers Kevin Undergaro and Maria Menounos, Chief Spirit Officer Jeff Graham, and the entire The Christmas 24/7 channel, we would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV's The Christmas 24/7 channel. If you have questions or comments, email us at thechristmas247@gmail.com. Until next time, do your best to give, forgive, and be merry. Ho, 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 ho.